Hey, I'm training to be a championship speedcuber and documenting my process. If you're new here, every single week I make a structured training plan for my cubing. I log every solve I do, how long they all take me, and then once a week I make a video like this to review what I've done and improve for the next week. My ultimate goal is to make the final round at a major championship for every event from 3x3 to 7x7 by 2031, so I have about 6 years to pull this off. Today's video, first I'm going to recap what I did for the last week, then I'm going to do a little bit of Q&A from the YouTube comment section. Helps me boost engagement because if you, the viewer, put comments down there, the algorithm likes my video, and it gives me fun stuff to talk about. And then I'm going to go over what I'm going to do in my practice next week. My next competition is Temecula Valley Winter. I'm going to be doing 3x3, 4x4, 6x6, and that's in about 8 weeks. And this video is sponsored by nobody. If you are a sponsor watching this video, you know who you are. So let's jump into the review of what I did. So this last week, I'm working with Luke Griesser right now for coaching, and the plan was to do a few things. My biggest bottleneck right now is my ability to inspect. I'm okay at inspection. I can one-look crosses consistently, but I can't see from my cross into my first pair. So all the drills that I have this week were centered around cross and inspection. I was going to use a trainer on a website called solved.no, and they have, if you go to the trainers section and you go to cross, you can choose how many moves the optimal cross is for a given scramble. So I've been doing the 7-move cross scrambles, and that's odd that it's not loading. Normally this loads right away. Internet's probably having a brain fart or something. It's fine. Well, it generates a scramble that has a certain move optimal cross. This is a session of me doing 5-move cross practice where I used the 5-move cross scramble option on this so that I could practice planning cross plus 1 a little more efficiently. So that was one, was doing 7-move cross scrambles and just getting really good at seeing right to the end of that. The second one was using their Xcross trainer on this website, which that has been very challenging for me. Even a 6-move Xcross is very, very hard to see sometimes. And then the last thing I've been doing is just scrambling the cube using one of those 5-move cross scrambles, like I'm doing in this video up here, and then inspecting all the way till I can see cross plus 1, and then doing that with my eyes closed, or in the case of this video, doing the full solve after the fact. When I started out with the cross scrambles this week, it was a little bit slow, but I ended up averaging about 2 crosses per minute between scrambling and inspecting and solving, and I really was not missing very much. I was really sick this day where I missed one and only did 10 crosses in 10 minutes. But by the end of the week, I was consistently doing about 2 crosses per minute and not missing anything, which is about the speed I would want to be at for a 7-mover. So yesterday I did 24 7-move crosses in 10 minutes and didn't miss any of them. So that's really good progress on this. My ability to one-look across is completely locked in. So the next thing was training Xcrosses, and I really did not like doing this. The Xcrosses in the trainer are very random. They're not normal or naturally the way I would solve Xcrosses. They're kind of all over the place. Like, oh, I have to do a U2 and a random R prime here, and now there's an Xcross setup. You have to really think like a computer to see the solution. So this is okay, but it doesn't feel like it's attacking my weakness right now of not being able to plan well in inspection. So I'll probably come back to this, but it wasn't super valuable this week. In learning to plan my first pair, I noticed a few interesting things. First, I was really bad at first. I was using 6-move cross scrambles, and I got half of them wrong on my first day. But by the end of the week, I switched down to 5-move optimal crosses, and I only missed like 25%, and I almost doubled how many I did in the allotted time. So I've gotten way faster at being able to inspect. Observations about how that works is I've had to learn how to follow edges by orientation instead of looking at the colors on them. So edges on a 3x3, let me just grab one. What I used to do, the way I thought I needed to do inspection is look at like both colors on an edge and like track all of that as the edge moved around the cube. But now I've realized I can just pick one color and I can kind of intuit whether the edge will be oriented or misoriented based on my cross solution. Like, is the edge going through F moves or B moves during my solution? If it is, it's going to be, the orientation is going to change. So I don't actually need to track sticker movement. I just need to track placement, and I need to figure out if orientation flips or not. So that was a big unlock for me. The second thing I realized about Cross Plus One training is that all the times when I messed up universally on this last day here were when I didn't solidly plan cross and then roll into corner edge. I kind of would half plan my cross, and then I would, without having it fully locked into my brain, jump into corner and edge, and then both would be fuzzy. I wouldn't know how the corner and edge were flowing through the cross, and then when I would go back to check the cross, I would forget how the corner and edge were impacted, and it was just a mess. So I have to learn how to think in a better process. Cross first, then corner, then edge, and see where they all ended up. I just have to do a lot more reps and get way faster at it. So that's how practice went this last week. I'm really happy with my progress. 2 weeks ago, I was struggling to consistently do 5 or 6 move crosses. Like, I was missing 3 6-move crosses in a 15-minute practice session. And now I have 7 move crosses completely locked in right here. And then Cross Plus One, I can tell my inspection ability is getting better and better and better. I'm learning how to see patterns in the way pieces move and get oriented. The next thing I would normally do right now is Q&A from the YouTube comment section, but obviously nobody's left comments yet because I've just started doing these videos. If you're watching this, leave any sort of question or comment you want me to answer, and I'd be happy to chat about it in the next video. So last thing is, what am I going to do this next week for training? So when I'm thinking about improving at cubing, and I'm just going to switch to this view and get rid of this, there's a bunch of aspects to improving at 3x3. And while I am practicing 4x4 through 7x7, 3x3 is my main focus right now. There's 3 main parts to the solve. Luke Griesser taught me this. There's part 1, which is inspection and everything that you plan within that. So that's going to be, for me as a CFOP solver, cross and my first F2L pair. So the degrees of skill within that are, you start by learning how to one look just the cross, and I can already do that just fine. Then you add in one corner on top of the cross, which I'd never thought of doing. But Luke texted me about that today, and I was like, that's an amazing idea. Instead of using easy crosses and tracking a corner and an edge through the solution, what if I used the hardest possible cross and just learned to track the corner through it? That feels like more applicable to what real solving would be like. And eventually, you learn how to one look the cross, the corner, and the edge, all in inspection, which helps you get through the hardest part of your solve with no pauses. And then once you have that skill set on lock, you start looking at much more complex solutions like X and double X crosses, instead of just solve my cross and then solve a relevant pair after the fact. Another thing to add is that for 10 years of cubing, I've been a white-only solver. And now I'm switching to solving both white and yellow. So as I'm learning these 3 skills, I'm only solving on yellow, which has been really painful, but I'm slowly starting to catch up to white. I'm definitely like 1 to 1.5 seconds slower when I solve on yellow versus white, but I'm learning to be dual color neutral as I learned these skills. So this has been the focus of almost everything up until now. This next week, we're going to throw in a little bit from this middle part of the solve, the middle F2L pairs. I'm going to be spending time every day studying optimal algorithms and making sure I'm using good F2L algorithms and solutions for a lot of different cases. I'm guessing that for the most part, I have good solutions already, but it's going to be super good to just go through SpeedCubeDB, speedcubedb.com. I'm just going to go here to the F2L section and just from the top down, go through all these views for every single case and just look at every algorithm. I'm experienced enough to know the ones I'm familiar with and find new concepts in here. So the particular training plan for week 3 is this. I'm going to be doing cross plus 1 corner drills using 7-move cross scrambles. So use the solved.no cross trainer, set it to a 7-move optimal cross, and inspect until I can see cross plus where 1 corner will end up. Solve it and see if I got it right. And I'm going to do that for about 20 minutes each day. Then I'm going to go through the SpeedCube DB F2L algs and just see if I have optimal solutions for stuff. I'm really interested to see where my knowledge gaps are. And then I'm just going to do some untimed solves for a few minutes after both of those each day to try and implement my F2L algorithms that I'm learning. I also want to make sure I get lots of solves in using unlimited inspection during the week, because just doing this is not enough. I need to practice inspecting into my first pair and then flowing from that into the rest of the solve. I also just need a lot of repetitions to get used to solving on yellow. I have 4x4 and 6x6 coming up, so I'm going to keep solving those as well. That's everything for this week. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a question or something for me to chat about in the next video. And if you enjoyed this, drop a subscribe, because I'll be doing this every single week for the foreseeable future.